solemnly swear that I am up to no good. What are 31 colleges of Cambridge? Isn't it just Cambridge University? Well, these are 31 different castles where students live but don't study. Imagine these are the houses of Harry Potter, but instead of 4, we have 31. I asked students from all 31 colleges to show us around their castles. We will visit the library, the formal hall, the student rooms, and all of the other hidden places.
Okay, we are lost. So is this the pool that you have?
The king and the royal family have been using Girton grounds.
They're arriving with a helicopter on like Girton cricket ground, I think.
Yeah.
In order to get to Girton, we cannot just walk there. Well, hypothetically we can, but we don't want to. So we are waiting for the Uber because it's quite far from the city center.
Okay, as I have previously mentioned, Girton College is situated very far from the city center. So we are here, going there, and we will meet our tour guide there. Very exciting.
Hi, my dear friends from all over the world. So, welcome to Girton College, one of the colleges of the University of Cambridge. And Sarim has kindly agreed to show us around his college. Thank you very much. And I know that we are waiting for another person as well. So
Yeah, my friend. He might be on his way because Nico!
Where is he?
I just shout because Nico!
Here.
Oh my god.
Sorry for the delay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Welcome. Yeah. So I'm Nico, I'm also a student at Girton. And because Girton is located a little outside of Cambridge, we are cycling a lot and we are known for the Girton pies.
But that is not the only thing about Girton though. You know why Girton is so far out? There must be a reason though. What do you guys think? Why is Girton so far out?
So the reason is that Girton was the first college to admit women in the whole of UK, and that's why they had to locate the college so far outside of town, just until it was finally recognized as a college also of the University of Cambridge.
Also,
It
the
is.
Catholic Church thought women as a distraction until 1900s, and this is why Girton College was located outside, so women could study in peace. And this is so fascinating because the first woman that graduated from Cambridge was in 1947, and Girton was a flag bearer of women's education since century before.
Wow, these are a lot of interesting facts about the college. So before we start the actual tour, let me ask you one question. So how would you describe your college here in 3 words?
So
You start.
3 words of Girton would be nature, library, and cycling. How about you?
Home. Can we also give descriptions of why we specifically chose this word?
Of course.
Yeah, home because it actually feels like quitting the city and coming back to home. It's so far out. The other could be the community. The community is definitely a very a large point because we're so far out, we're so well knit together, and even on a Sunday or a Saturday you can see all of us getting together and having fun. And the last thing could be, what do you think is the last thing? Possibly cycle? Yeah, it's like a major part of our community.
True. It's an integral part of Girton, yes.
So let's start the tour.
Let's go.
So guys, let me ask you one more question. So it used to be a female-only college, and how does it feel like studying here as a man?
So I wouldn't say that it necessarily feels all too different from a college with another history, although I would say that it's a generally more progressive vibe and mindset in Girton generally towards, gender equality, LGBT topics. So it's like a little different in that sense, but it's not like totally different from other colleges.
I would actually, I would support this because I felt that Girton was really inclusive. in all of its domains, and even the administration, the hierarchy, and even the mistress is so kind, and they're very accommodating, and they're very cautious about the rights and liberties of every individual. So I think it's like a wonderful place, and probably it's like it's due to its women's only history. So like they are definitely flag bearers of inclusivity.
Yeah. Another fun fact though, so the two leading people of Girton College, the mistress and the vice mistress, and that's actually just titles. So like the vice mistress is actually a man, which is kind of a little fun fact about Girton.
It's actually because it's like a fun thing. Even if a man becomes a mistress, even if a man becomes
Mistress.
what you think of as the equivalent of a master, he will be called a mistress. So yeah, that's
Really?
a fun Girton thing. Yeah, we don't have masters over here. We have mistresses.
Yeah.
The king and the royal family have been using Girton grounds when they want to visit Cambridge.
Really?
Yeah.
They stay here.
This is why they
They're arriving with a helicopter on like Girton cricket ground, I think.
Yeah.
And then from there on, they're like driving to Cambridge.
Wow. Okay, we are lost. Maria, do you understand where we are?
Not really.
I think this looks really like Hogwarts with so many corridors. Nico, sorry, where are they? Please keep it here.
Oh,
I got lost. You got
Sorry, that's the thing about Girton. Girton comprises of a lot of variegated hallways, and that's what makes the beauty of Girton. That's what gives it the Hogwarts vibe. So this is one of the main hallways where you can see. So let's just get this.
This is also the most picturesque. What is it called? Picturesque place of Girton. So this is the place you need to have full of fun.
The doors, they do open by themselves.
Like Harry Potter, yeah.
Yes.
Gracias.
Okay, let's go. So here we're standing in front of the Girton Library.
And obviously we cannot speak inside, so we're speaking outside.
Yeah, exactly. It is one of the most Harry Potter style libraries, I would say. I've studied in, let's say, 10, maybe 12 of them. And every person that I brought here told me that this is the most beautiful one in the whole of Cambridge, believe me.
You study a lot, by the way. Studying in 10 libraries is a lot. But interesting stuff about the library is that the heating is okay-ish, but they compensate by providing you blankets. So yeah, that's like a thing. Other than that, they invite dogs. There's the dog Holly, which is like 13 years old, and it comes for the welfare of students whenever they're studying.
Didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah, you should.
Is it a Labrador?
It's actually Alsatian.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really nice. It's like an old dog, and people love it. The telescope is a little. It has myths associated with it. So the telescope actually is believed for some astronomy purpose, but there's also myths about it that the telescope was used to keep eye on the men that are roaming around in Girton.
Guys, tell me everything about accommodation here. Do you live on site?
Nico, you start.
I would like to start, but you live on site.
Okay, perfect. So the accommodation is really nice. Accommodation gets you. It's not as cheap as the other colleges. For example, Pembroke could be cheaper, King's College could be cheaper, but the facilities, the value that you get for the price that you pay is really decent.
I brought them from Russia.
You get a swimming pool, you get
So
a squash
if
court,
you-
you get
but
a
you're-
basketball court, you get a tennis court.
You get this view.
You get a library, gardens, you get a nice atmosphere, you get a nice schlub, you get a deep schlub where I've not been, but Nico has me. And other than that, the accommodation is really nice. So I live on the oldest part of Girton, which is full of Victorian rooms. So it has, the trick is, you should always get 16 or 17, not 16A or 17A, because they are basically annex rooms. Previously in 1860s, when the students would come and live over here, they would actually have a sleeping room and a studying room. So the sleeping room was obviously big and the studying room was short. Now what they're doing is they're sending students both in. So my friend who's my neighbor, lives in the smaller room, which was meant to be only a study room. And I live in the big room, which was meant to be a bedroom.
Yeah, and because it's so far outside, I think the main argument or the biggest benefit that people say that live main side about it is that you have a very, very strong community feeling, because in the other colleges in central Cambridge, you will just mingle around people from any college because it's so close. But then, because Girton is a little outside of Cambridge, there's going to be a strong, well, community feeling among the people living here, because you see them every day in the library, in the dining hall, maybe in the pool.
What a lovely formal hall. It really looks like Harry Potter, right?
Yes, it does. So here we are at the beautiful Girton dining hall. I think people told me it's one of the biggest dining halls in Cambridge as well. In my opinion, also one of the most beautiful. What else is there to say? There is formal dinners here, although it's only once a week, which is, I think, the least frequent formals any Cambridge college. There's others that do it like, I think, once a day or even twice a day. And because of that, it's quite competitive to actually get a place in the Girton formal. And also the food is very good, and the price is decent. Maybe, what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, but I think also having less formals makes them more excited. So people are actually looking forward to the formals. They wake up at 8 a.m. to get the tickets, and when they actually get the tickets, they also make sure that their friends get the tickets. And if their friends don't get the tickets, then it's your chance to make new friends. You get great food served, which is highly subsidized. So the food is around 15-ish pounds for a 3-course meal. They also serve you drinks and whatever. I think the history about this great three-storied ceiling that you can see behind us is because women were not allowed to graduate in Cambridge. The college administration decided that they award this degrees to the women themselves. So this is why they created this massive, huge hall for I think some 20-ish or 40-ish women to be awarded, and now it can accommodate I think 300 students. Yeah.
So this is the pool that you have.
Yeah, so here we have the Girton pool, as you can see, beautifully laid out. The water quality, it's decent. It's not perfect, obviously, but you can wish for perfection.
Why don't you have a swim and be sure?
Yeah, so no, I was kidding back then. This is the actual Girton swimming pool. I think I'm pretty sure we are the only college in Cambridge and probably also Oxford with a heated indoor swimming pool. It doesn't quite have the size of a proper sports swimming pool, but it's still quite large. And yeah, it's open for any Girton student. We can also bring other people, so it's one of the reasons for people to choose Girton as well.
9 a.m. to 10 p.m. each day, every day, except for Friday. I think this has some very timing on Friday or something.
Girton apple juice. Think like Newton, drink from Girton. One sip and the apple doesn't fall far from the genius.
This is the Girton orchard. Fantastic. In spring, you have all the apples here.
Exactly.
Very inspirational, like Newton. That, you know, maybe when you're reflecting on your thesis or your dissertation.
I can totally picture like sitting in one of those benches there and just
Easter run could be fun.
discussing about your research, discussing about this stuff. It's probably maybe taking up an apple, eating it. Actually, also there's this one ice cream place in Cambridge called Jack's Gelato, and it's very, very famous. So if you're in Cambridge, you should try it probably. And then they cycle through the flavors of their ice every day. And some days they will have proper Girton apple flavorings.
Really?
And also Girton is producing its own apple juice from the orchard. So this is one of the distinctions.
Do you sell the apple juice or do you consume it in your bar?
So we can buy it in the bar, but I'm not sure if it's sold also.
So they actually encouraged us to consume all the apples because then they fall down and then they're not consumable. So the Girton catering department and the administration like really asked us to go and get out those apples, and I think we had some. So I live on the main side and our kitchen was filled with apples, like 30s or 40s of apples that people picked. And maybe we can show you some videos in like the reel or something where you can actually see when the trees were full of apples, like red apples.
So we have the apple orchard that we already talked about here, but then this is not the only part of the Girton grounds. So we also have tennis courts, we have a large soccer field, there's some tennis facilities, there is basketball fields, and then somewhere down this line there will also be think it's cricket, right? Like a huge cricket ground. So yeah, we are located a little outside, but in exchange we get a lot of space to do, well, sports, apple picking, anything we want.
We can't go inside because it's a Saturday. But this is Girton's most fancy, different, unique kind of a room because it has a mummy.
A mummy?
Yeah.
Like an Egyptian mummy?
Absolutely. Not an Egyptian mummy, but it's actually a very fascinating story that you would want to read. And here you'll find it on the reels. The Lawrence Room. Girton was actually built on a graveyard, and this was actually really interesting because when Girton was being built, the excavation site was happening, and people would just come from the towns and they would take stuff until a student noticed and he reported to the administration, and a lot of stuff had already gone. So yeah, sad reality for Girton, but Girton still hosts a lot of artifacts from the graveyard from I think 1500 to 1600s, which is crazy
And creepy.
Yes. I don't know if you'll hear someone singing at 3 a.m. at the night. I heard someone singing, which was... I just pretended it was my friend. But yeah, I wouldn't want to speak more about it. But talking about the mummy, it is an actual mummy. It was preserved. It was bought for 20 pounds at that time.
What?
Yeah. So it doesn't translate to a lot of money today, but it's believed to be bought for 20 pounds. It's probably bought for more than that. I hope so. 20 pounds is not a lot for the kind of the condition that the mummy is in. Mummy was preserved, and now there's also a competition which is happening soon where we get to write about all of the stuff in Girton, and there's an award, a prize to incentivize students to learn more about the movie.
Cambridge professors shared how Cambridge has changed over the past 50 years since they were students. I took notes, so listen carefully. Students without gowns in the city were fined 6 shillings for undergraduates and 12 for graduates. Curfew at colleges at 10:30 p.m. Mandatory dining in college. Absentees from the formal hall were counted and punished. Tutor permission required for being over 2 miles away from Cambridge for more than a day. All of the interviewees were happy that Girton College, where the girl studied, was exactly 2 miles from the city. Mischief managed. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the tour. Watch other 30 colleges tour on my channel. And in the end, you will have a bonus tour around a hidden college of Cambridge.